touch that dial!
The premiere of A New Generation is an okay episode. Ash, Misty, and Brock make it to Professor Elm's lab in New Barktown, where they find out a Totodile was stolen. Who could have done it? It was Team Rocket. Then after rescuing it, Ash registers for the Johto League as he heads to Violet City for the first gym. As the season premiere goes, it's kind of whatever, it's just a standard episode. But also at the beginning of the season, like the first one where he saw Ho-Oh, in this one he sees Suicune. It doesn't really matter that much though. The best part about Pokemon Johto is obviously the theme song of the same name. Hands down, no contest to the best Pokemon theme in all Pokemon. I don't care if we have like 20 more or 30 more to go, it's the best one. I'm just talking about with how catchy it is, I'm talking about with the lyrics too, whatever few it has, you know. It encapsulates Pokemon perfectly. Now, I can't play much of it, obviously, but let me just read some of these lyrics for you. It's a whole new world we live in, it's a whole new way to see, it's a whole new place with a brand new attitude, but you still gotta catch 'em all, and be the best that you can be. Do. That's bars, nigga.
The double trouble header!
Ash and friends meet Casey, a brand new trainer who has an obsession with the baseball team, the Electabuzz. And after Ash insults the team for losing so much, they battle, and after she loses, Team Rocket tricks her into helping them with one of their schemes. Yeah, it's a standard episode, but I personally love Casey. I think she is a really great character. She's one of my favorite ones in Pokemon. She does not show up much, but I like her because mainly she has a baseball motif, and I love baseball, so that gets a lot of points from me.
The Electabuzz couldn't beat an egg.
Oh, yeah? And what about all the great hitters that are on the Electabuzz?
Those guys aren't hitters. I've seen better swings on a playground.
In a sappy ending, one of Team Rocket's schemes caused a bunch of Pinsir to upset the natural balance of a local forest that is being maintained by a group of Heracross. And after blasting them off once again, one of the Heracrosses decides to join Ash on his journey. In Roll On Pokemon, the gang meet a Donphan trainer who uses them to harvest precious stones that Team Rocket try to steal. In Illusion Confusion, while going through more forest, the gang encounter Gary again, and then he leaves, so I started losing interest. So, according to the wiki, this episode has the gang use a Hoot to guide them out of a forest of illusions. I miss Gary already. In Flower Power, the gang help a girl who uses Blossom in her dance troupe when one of them has some insecurity about if they can perform correctly. In Spinnerack Attack in Catalia City, Team Rocket used the legend of a local master thief called the Black Arachnid to commit crimes. In Snubble Snobbery, the gang meet a high society lady who pampers her Snubble, but the group convinces her after observing the Snubble that it doesn't want to live a pampered life and wants to do Pokemon things like battle and breed. Also, the Snubble starts following Team Rocket. This subplot goes nowhere, and I will not mention it again. In Little Bighorn, we got a Brock episode. These will get rarer as we go on, trust me. Brock uses those breeder skills to heal a baby Stantler that's been using illusions to defend itself after being injured.
The Chikorita Rescue!
Ash encounters a Chikorita, and after Charizard goes a bit overboard trying to capture it, they take it to a Pokemon Center to heal it. Then after Team Rocket tries to steal it, Ash goes to its rescue, and after successfully doing so, the Chikorita joins his team. This episode is pretty good, actually. I like it when they show the lengths Ash is willing to go for Pokemon. Like, despite Chikorita being hostile and stubborn to the point it bites him, he still wants to help it. It really makes you want to root for him, like, you know, he's a good guy. And again, it's been a while. Ash mimics Team Rocket's motto. I still love every time they do this.
Team Rocket, prepare for trouble! On second thought, make that double!
To protect the world from devastation?
To unite all peoples within our nation?
My Pokemon team is faster than light! Surrender now or you're in for a fight!
Me out, that's right!
In Once Upon a Blue Moon, hey, remember the GS Ball? Me neither. But a Quagsire steals it, and it turns out at Cherry Grove City, a bunch of Quagsire are stealing spherical objects for some Quag ritual, but are eventually returned later. So what was the point of this episode?
The whistle stop!
The gang meet a woman who trains Ladybug. That's all cool and fun, but the most interesting thing about this episode is that during a moment where James is in Victory Bell's mouth, if you play the audio backwards, James actually says something. He says, Leo Burnett and 4 kids are the devil. Leo Burnett is an advertising company, and I'm sure you know what 4 Kids is. Apparently, Eric Stewart has said in interviews that he did say this, and it was because they decided to stop paying the Pokemon voice actors for commercials. Because, you know, sometimes commercials from cartoons would use audio clips from the show in them, and they no longer got compensated for that when they did before. This frustrated Eric, and he said this during the recording because those commercials helped pay for his health insurance, and the voice director decided to leave it in, I guess. Now, despite it being hidden, they did eventually find out about it, and they got in trouble for it, and they had to pay out of pocket to get a new master of the episode so they can redo it, so basically any new future versions of this episode did not have that in there. Very interesting story about the evils of advertising companies hidden in a nothing Pokemon episode.
Ignorance is blissy!
We got our backstory on James and Meowth, so now it's Jesse's turn. In an episode that is actually pretty good, when Team Rocket try to steal some Pokemon and food from a Pokemon Center, Jessie runs into a Blissey she knows from her past. When she was younger, Jessie wanted to be a Pokemon nurse, but she couldn't get in, most likely due to nepotism, but she was able to get into Pokemon nursing school, the one for Chanseys. While there, she helps a clumsy Chansey through school and they become friends, but unfortunately Jessie isn't able to pass due to falling asleep to the Chansey singing Pokemon to sleep. But the Chansey did pass, and the two split a special pendant Chansey get on graduation, so they'll always remember each other. And now that Chansey is this Blissey. Blissey, excited to see Jessie, not knowing of the, terrorism, gives them tons of food, almost all of it, and giving away all the Pokemon Center food was not a great idea, and after the twerps make a big deal about it, Blissey is about to get fired. But Jessie, seeing her friend in trouble, and James and Meowth supporting her, they turn the Team Rocket charm on, taking the blame and acting like they stole the food so Blissey can keep her job. Yeah, kind of a heartwarming story. It again shows Team Rocket, while they can be a bunch of dicks, they're a bunch of dicks with good hearts when it counts. Yeah, I'll admit, they're slowly warming up to me. Not to mention, I thought the episode was kind of funny. I mean, Jessie entering a school for Chanseys, and it played very seriously. I mean, I don't know if it's meant to be funny, but I found it funny. Yeah, I was kind of surprised how much I like this one. I hope there's more like it in the future. In Bout with a Sprout, our heroes arrive in Violet City and are recruited by a local teacher at the Pokemon Academy, volunteered by Brock, to show them some Pokemon. That's when a little shit kid wants Pikachu for himself, but when chasing it and trying to catch it, he accidentally catches a Bellsprout. Blah blah blah, the kid respects Ash in the end. Yeah, I did not like this episode. I thought the kid, Zaki is his name, was annoying. I hate him in next episode. In fighting Flyer with Fire, Ash fights his first Johto gym against Faulkner, the flying gym leader. Okay, so let's talk about Ash as a trainer. Throughout the entire series, they try to make Ash this battle savant. During fights, he comes up with these out-of-the-box, crazy strategies that no one's ever seen before. This does happen, and I guess I'll explain them when something like that does, I guess. But sometimes he's just an idiot, like how he will intentionally use a Pokemon that is weak to the type of Pokemon he's going up against on purpose just to, prove a point or something. Like, the first Pokemon he sends out against Faulkner, the flying leader, is Chikorita, a grass Pokemon, and even the characters in the show tell him how dumb that is.
Bad choice.
I thought you of all people would have known that grass Pokemon are weak against flying Pokemon.
So yeah, you really gotta take this whole Ash is a genius battler thing with a grain of salt sometimes. Oh yeah, Misty exists. And for crying out loud, after finding a Marill that Misty tries to catch only to find out someone already owns it, Team Rocket attempt to steal it, but after stopping them, Misty, the Marill, and Pikachu get separated and have to find their way back. But the Marill is a huge crybaby, it's got no balls, so it might be harder to get back than she thought. It's an alright Misty episode. I feel for her with our bonding with the Marill and then having to return it when the trainer shows up at the end. It's kind of sad, I guess. But, it's just... Sometimes you kind of forget Misty's there. She doesn't really do much.
This is perfect! That cliff is the perfect spot for our first meeting.
Yeah, as soon as she meets us, she can jump right off.
In Tanks a Lot, Team Rocket use a plane, just kidding, it's a tank.
Charizard's burning ambition!
So this is probably another pretty famous episode, as it's the one where Ash sort of releases Charizard, but not really, he still technically owns it. When our heroes encounter Liza,
My name's Lisa.
a trainer specializing in Charizards at the Charific Valley,
The Charific Valley.
we see Ash's Charizard might not be as hot as he thought he was, as many of the other Charizard there are much stronger. Seeing this, Ash decides, to run away, leaving Charizard there to train and grow stronger, thinking this is the best opportunity for him. So yeah, it's really one of those episodes where if you're watching this and you have no context to what's going on, I guess you're pretty upset because, Charizard is one of those first Pokemon. Charmander had a really sad backstory. But, as of now, it's just... Yeah, we know we're going to see him again. You know how much these Pokemon cards sell? They'd be stupid not to put him back in the anime. In Grin to Win, the gang help a grass trainer specializing in one Pokemon to help the one Pokemon they own get over some hang-up. Starting to see what I mean, that most of these episodes are the same. In Chikorita's big upset, Chikorita, who really likes Ash, starts becoming jealous of Pikachu being the favorite. So Chikorita takes out her jealous frustrations by fighting a bunch of fighting Pokemon in an abandoned factory at night. And enemy's great. In Foul Weather Friends, the gang help a grass trainer who specializes in one Pokemon, Hoppip, with an Oddish that wants to be like the Hoppip, I guess. Remember kids, you can be whatever you want, even a different species. In The Superhero Secret, the gang help Gligar Man, a superhero created by a guy trying to sell merchandise, stop a typical Team Rocket plot. In Mild and Woolly, the gang help an electric trainer who mixes it up. She herds Mareep, and her mom won't let her enter the Mareep Festival. Okay, why does every Pokemon type and move it or whatever have some kind of festival or event based on them in the Pokemon world. Like, seriously, if you think about it, that means there has to be like a festival going on somewhere every single day in the world. That just seems ridiculous. I mean, I guess technically that's the same in the real world. And wired for battle, some nerd thinks he knows everything about battling because he studies stats and frame data. So Ash shows him there's more to battling than looking at a computer screen. Yeah, go touch Scratch, you nerd. I mean, do it for me, please, because I'm going to be stuck here for a while. Also, first appearance of Scizor, one of my favorite Pokemon.
Good quill hunting!
Ash meets a guy named Koji who is looking for a wild Cyndaquil, and Ash, in need of a fire type, is quick to looking for one too. As well as Team Rocket, of course. After some shenanigans, Ash catches the Cyndaquil and beats Koji in a battle to see who would keep it. Even though Ash caught it already, so I don't see why he did that. He already owned it.
A shadow of a drought!
Ash, Misty, and Brock have made it to Azalea Town for Ash's gym battle. And oh yeah, the GS ball, I keep forgetting about that. Ash accidentally pisses off the town when he steps on a Slowpoke tail, but makes up for it by stopping a Team Rocket scheme. Also, they just randomly meet Kurt, yeah, the guy they're supposed to deliver the GS ball to. Convenient.
Going apricorn!
So Ash finally delivers the GS ball, the item we spent an entire arc focusing. Yours about that, apricorns, man, as the gang learn about making other kinds of Pokeballs besides the standard ones, and even get some of their own, with Brock using one to catch a Pineco. And now they head off to fight in the Azalea gym. Oh, right, the MacGuffin. So we never see this thing again. Ever. Yeah, we never learn what it was, how it works, what the fuck even had anything to do with anything. It's just gone now. Like, it's over. We're done. Seriously, we're never going to bring up the GS ball again. In getting the bugs out, Ash fights Bugsy and gets his second badge. All I'll say is this episode is prime for anime bullshit rules. If you've seen Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, you know what I mean when a character in the anime does something that is impossible to do due to the rules of the actual game. Like here, Bugsy spams Swords Dance with his Scyther, which is used to repel fire. Yeah, that makes sense. In a Farfetch'd Tale, wait, didn't we get a Farfetch'd episode already? In this one, they help some kid who was having trouble bonding with his Farfetch'd. And the first one about the thief kid was better.
Tricks of the trade!
So are you guys ready for the premiere of the Pokemon character that will be in the anime for the longest time besides Pikachu? That's right. It's time for the man, the myth, the legend, Wobbuffet. The twerps arrive at a Pokemon swap meet where everyone is trading Pokemon, and meet a kid named Benny who's trying to trade his Wobbuffet. But these heathens don't want it. Then, during one of Team Rocket's plans to steal all the Pokemon there, James runs into Jesse by trying to chase the Magikarp salesman that has cheated him before. Don't know if I ever mentioned that guy. Jesse accidentally trades her Lickitung for Benny's Wobbuffet, and then the legendary duo is born. So yeah, if you've ever wondered, that's how Jesse got Wobbuffet. When you watch it, it seems really contrived.
The firing squad!
On the road to Goldenrod City, no, it doesn't have the same ring as Viridian, the gang come across the Fire and Rescue Grand Prix, a competition of firefighting Pokemon, and they see the Squirtle Squad back at it again, as now they help Officer Jenny fight fires. Also, Team War Turtle from some Orange Islands episode. Who cares? The Squirtle Squad! During the competition, they see the Squirtle Squad works a lot better with their leader, and Squirtle makes the decision to return to the Squirtle Squad to help them out. So again, like Charizard, Ash hasn't released Squirtle, he's just, somewhere else right now and can return at any time. But hey, who doesn't love the Squirtle Squad? It's great to see them all back, but now the only OG Pokemon that isn't Pikachu that Ash has is Bulbasaur, the worst one. In No Big Whoop, they watch a bunch of Whooper. The title is more interesting than the actual episode. In Tunnel Vision, Jigglypuff and Snubbull, wow, I forgot about both of those two. Well, the two of them have an instant dislike for each other, and the Snubbull steals Jigglypuff's microphone, so the gang try to help her find it. Can't wait to forget about these two again. In the Hour of the Houndour, love the way that sounds, a group of Houndour are going around stealing, and Ash and friends discover they've been stealing stuff to help an injured one. And it's an okay episode. Houndour is another banger Gen 2 Pokemon to me, so I liked it.
The Totodile Duel!
When fishing for some new Pokemon to catch, the gang come across a Totodile. Misty and Ash both want to catch it, and when both of them throw a lure ball at it, they don't see which one hit it, so they have a Pokemon battle to decide who gets it. Ash manages to win the battle and catches Totodile. Oh, also Misty's Poliwag evolves. I think this was a good episode, had a funny moment when Pikachu just can't bring himself to fight Togepi during their battle. I thought that was pretty cute. Also, look, I just love Totodile. Like, again, he's just one of my favorite Pokemon. You're going to hear me say that a lot in Gen 2. I love Gen 2. I mean, look at him though. He's just a little happy gator, man. How do you not love him? He's great.
My secret weapon! Introducing the mini Misty More!
It looks like her.
Isn't that gonna scare the Pokémon?
In hot matches, Ash meets a trainer who's using a Skarmory, a flying steel type, and she is only fighting fire types to strengthen it up. Luckily, Ash has just got one of those, and after losing once, Cyndaquil learns to control the fire on its back so it can use more fire moves. Oh yeah, that was a whole subplot, Cyndaquil unable to control its backfire. It's okay now. Damn, we just caught him and Totodile gets an episode already? In Love Totodile style, Totodile gets down bad after he falls in love with an Azumarill. Yeah, it's okay. It's funny seeing Brock, the king of blue balls, try to coach him. Maybe you should find someone successful, Totodile.
Foul play!
Ash and friends come across a shiny Noctowl, and Ash catches it. Yeah, sometimes that is just all that happens in these.
Forest grunts!
Okay, I just like this episode because I thought it was funny. After Team Rocket attempts to steal the twerp's Pokemon again, all of them are disrupted and suddenly attacked by an angry Ursaring. In the panic, the girls of the group get swapped, and now Misty is with James and Meowth, and Jessie is with Ash and Brock. And all of them agree to a truce until they can get their groups back together. Now, I love it when shows mix it up and have characters who wouldn't usually interact with each other be stuck together in a situation and just seeing how they handle it. It's fun seeing Jessie get to eat good food that Brock cooks, and Misty, well, just kind of bosses James and Meowth around like Jessie would. Yeah, I personally like this one. It was a fun time, and I'd like more episodes in the future like this. And considering where we are in this video, I can believe they do this plot like 4 or 5 more times.
Hey, wait a second. The Ursaring are gone and Team Rocket's back together. We can battle you for Pikachu!
Get over here, you're on our side!
Sign that.
In the Psychic Sidekicks, the group come to a town where ghost Pokemon are about, and everyone there raises psychic types to combat them. Which makes no sense because Ghost is super effective against them, but there's only like Ghastly, Lion, and Mischievous at this time, so I guess it makes sense. Hey, it's Girafarig! I hope you don't get a useless evolution in 22 years. In The Fortune Hunters, arriving in Unnamed Town, the gang come across a big fortune-telling craze, one that works like a horoscope where trainers are matched to a Pokemon and get good luck or something. And a local daycare is using the Pokemon they have there to match people with their Pokemon type. However, this is actually a convoluted plan by Team Rocket, but not Jessie, James, and Meowth. It's the return of Cassidy and Biff.
The name is Butch.
Whatever.
A goldenrod opportunity!
Okay, so here's where Pokemon decides to do something weird. Well, the dub does anyway. As now, each series is divided into multiple seasons. The last episode with Cassidy and the other guy was the end of Johto Journeys, and this is the start of Johto League Champions. Now, you know, when the anime is produced in Japan, it's all one series, you know, based on whatever region they're doing. But it's just something the dub does, and all that really changes is that we get a new theme song. Born to be a Winner is this one. It's okay, I guess, but, you know, anything that followed Pokemon Johto was gonna lose. I do legitimately like the melody, and it does get me hyped for a Pokemon battle. I do find it weird that the first couple lines are the first lines from the first Pokemon theme song.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
I don't get the callback, but okay. Anyway, in this season premiere, our heroes arrive in Goldenrod City, and this trope, I guess, is starting to annoy me, where the trio is looking for someone specific only to meet them immediately, but because they don't explain why they are looking for them or what they're even doing there, who they're looking for, you know, all that stuff, they just fuck around for a while until the episode decides to move on. That wasn't a pun, but given the subject matter. And in this one, they see the gym is closed, and right after run into Whitney, the gym leader. And, you know, it's one of those things where sometimes they know who the gym leader is, sometimes they don't. This is one of those times where they don't, conveniently. So, you know, we just have 10 minutes of comedy. Comedy. I mean, just get to the gym battle already. Oh, wait, they do. And Ash feels the pain of many kids when they make it to the gym, and he loses to Whitney's milk tank. Welcome to the club, pal. In a Dairy Tale ending, Ash rematches Whitney, though, and wins. Great. In Airtime, Ash gets interviewed on the radio by DJ Mary and ends up being part of a radio drama with a disguised Team Rocket.
The bug stops here!
Our heroes meet Casey again at the National Park for a bug catching contest. During it, Casey's Chikorita evolves into Bayleaf, and Ash catches a Beedrill, winning him the contest and a Sunstone. He doesn't keep the Beedrill, by the way, he gives it to Casey. It's a new party member. I always like seeing Casey, still like her. But the reason I called your attention to this episode is because of the Sunstone. It will come back. It won't be a big deal, but it will come back.
Look at me! I'm only 13.
I'm 12.
In typecasting, the gang meet two scientists who are trying to figure out if Sudowoodo is a rock or grass type, which I don't know about you. When I was a kid, that was an actual debate when Gold and Silver games came out. You know, when you're a kid, you didn't have the internet to reveal these things to you. You had to figure it out by actually catching the Pokemon. And there was this rumor going around that, like, oh, it's a tree, so it's gotta be grass, but it knows rock move, you know? So people were confused at first. I don't know if that was just me, if that was the thing. But this episode does confirm to me that Pokemon knew this would happen and spread rumors. Is nothing sacred. In Fossil Fools, the gang are at the ruins of Alph, where they meet Oak again and some guy to study Ammonite. Praise Lord Helix.
Water Pokemon rule!
Maybe you need an assistant to help you.
Time to dry up, water girl.
In Carrying On, the gang learn about carrier Pidgeys who deliver mail. Even in 2000, who mailed things? Get an AOL, kid. In Hassel in the Castle, it's a sort of Brock episode with the gang meeting a doctor who uses Pokemon to heal people. This gets Brock rock hard, because he trains rock types, and tries to use his Zubat to get some, but when a Team Rocket plot starts up, his Zubat evolves, saving the day. And then he gets rejected. In Two Hits and a Miss, the gang come to a dojo for training Pokemon for battle, and the headmaster is looking for a successor, because his granddaughter trains Pokemon in a way he doesn't approve. I don't really care.
Because I am the Shion of this dojo.
Shion. I think I had that once in a Chinese restaurant.
In a hot water battle, after playing with a ball and getting it lost, Ash's Johto starters go on an adventure to get it back. In Hook, Line, and Stinker, some dick trainer messes with Misty and her Poliwrath, so she tries to show him up by winning a Sea King fishing contest. Okay. In Beauty and the Breeder, the gang meets Susie again, the woman that gave Brock Vulpix, and the two enter a Pokemon beauty contest. And they don't say who wins, but in this episode, Brock returns Vulpix to Susie. Yeah, it never technically was his, he just, took care of it. F. In A Bitter Pill to Swallow, the gang meet a medicine man who creates crazy medicines with a shuckle, and is fast as fuck Bellsprout, what the fuck?
Power play!
When a blackout in a no-name town puts the Pokemon Center in jeopardy, Ash and friends go to restore power, and find out it was of course because of Team Rocket. But this time, to help them, they meet Gary again, whose Eevee has evolved into an Umbreon. Now this one's not important because Gary's in it. It's important, and I want you to pay attention, because I did not know until this episode that Umbreon's Japanese name is Blackie. In Mountain Time, the gang meet the Mountain Patrol, who uses a Pidgeotto and a Ledian to patrol the mountain. In Wabapalooza, the gang arrive at a town having a Wobbuffet festival. Okay, what do these festivals based on a specific Pokemon entail? Like, what events or food trucks can I expect here? Do I just get a lousy t-shirt? Anyway, it's fine. A kind of a cool twist when Team Rocket are the ones that have to save the day because Jessie has a Wobbuffet and the Torps can't intervene. That was cool.
Imitation confrontation!
Oh shit, it's my wife. Yes, Duplica returns, this time with a little ditto she calls Mini Dit, which sounds wrong to say, and I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, yeah, that's all about this episode. Duplica's cool. I like seeing her back. I don't remember this episode at all, so I guess I'm a fake fan. But look at him, he's so small. In Trouble with Snubbull, oh, it's about the Snubbull and the rich lady. Looks like it evolves into a Grand Bull and leaves. Cool, I don't care. In Ariados Amigos, okay, that's a good pun title, the gang meet Aya again, the anime-exclusive sister of Koga, the Kanto gym leader, and they all learn about Pokemon ninjutsu. Neat. In Wings and Things, some kid's Yanma likes to use Sonic Boom, which breaks all the glass in a no-name town, and his dad, a glassmaker, doesn't like that, so Ash and friends help the kid learn to control Yanma. In The Grass Root at No Name City, the gang encounter a grass-type tournament. What are they going to do, lame each other out with leech seed and poison powder? That sounds boring, Skip. In the Apple Core, the gang encounter an apple orchard that is having all its apples stolen, and it turns out the thieves are a group of Pichu, and Pikachu steps up to teach them that stealing is wrong, okay?
Houndoom special delivery!
Okay, I kinda like this one. It was a cute episode. After a Team Rocket attack, Togepi gets separated from the group and is found by passing Houndoom and decides to take care of it. Of course, Togepi is eventually found by Misty again, but it's another Pokemon-focused episode that, again, is told with very little dialogue and is kind of ruined every time we cut back to the humans. But I just thought it was a really cute and wholesome episode seeing Houndoom take care of Togepi. And I just love Houndoom so much, man. He's just such a cool Pokemon.
A ghost of a chance!
Yeah, I guess everybody gets one of those Ghost of Chance puns. The gang finally arrive in Ecruteak City for Ash's next gym battle. They do meet the gym leader Morty, but most of this episode is Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar fucking with everyone, as is most episodes about ghost types. And from Ghost to Ghost, Ash beats Morty and wins his 4th badge by utilizing Noctowl's Confusion. Wish I could have done that. In Trouble's Brewing, the gang meet the Komodo sisters, who all have an evolution, but the youngest sister wants to go on her own journey, but none of the sisters will allow it, so the gang try to help her convince her sisters. In All That Glitters, a group of Murkrows steal Ash's badges because of how shiny they are, and he tries to get them back. In The Light Fantastic, the gang meet Gan Go, a painter trying to draw the rainbow lights. Gan Go? You for real? In Unbearable, the gang come across a Teddy Ursa who uses its cuteness and charm, literally the attack charm, to trick people like Misty into giving it free shit and getting away with being a dick. But it's just so adorable, man. Oh, great, it evolved, run away.
Moving pictures!
So Todd Snap returns. I honestly wasn't expecting that. He's in Johto because he wants to take a picture of Articuno, who's in Johto right now, I guess. That's just a subplot, though. The actual episode is about an elderly couple who want to take a special 50th anniversary picture with a bunch of sunflora, but won't be able to due to all the recent snowy weather, most likely caused by Articuno. Conflict is resolved by Ash using that sunstone he got from the bug catching contest. I told you it'd come back and it wouldn't be that important. So yeah, once again, Todd is back and he's now traveling with the group. Cool. In Spring Fever, the gang come across a girl, Peggy, who uses her swinub to find hot springs so her father can build hot spring resorts at those locations.
Freeze frame!
Okay, that's probably the best title you can put for an episode about taking pictures of a nice type Pokemon. And yes, in this episode, Todd does get his picture of Articuno. That's pretty much all that happens. I mean, them getting there by traversing a mountain in a blizzard is more boring than it sounds. I think it's because it's Pokemon and I'm an adult. You know, I know nothing bad is going to happen to these characters, so I care less. Not to say the episode doesn't do a good job of establishing the stakes and, you know, delivering on them. It's more of, I'm not 5 years old. Also, bye Todd, why did you need to be here for the Swinub episode? In the Stolen Stones, the gang meet Keegan and Ramona, two Arcanine trainers who are delivering Firestones to a town holding a Fire-type competition, okay?
They're having a fire Pokemon tournament in a town just on the other side of these mountains tomorrow.
But Team Rocket steals them and Ash is going to have to learn how to ride an Arcanine fast if he wants to get those stones back. Stones back. Jeez, I need to take a break. In the Dunsparce Deception, the gang helps some kid try to catch a Dunsparce because one day when he was out of town, a huge swarm of Dunsparce showed up and now every kid but him has one. Well, get good, kid. In the Wayward Wobbuffet, after Team Rocket manages to trap Pikachu in one of their devices, due to a whole bunch of stuff, the only key to let Pikachu out is attached to Wobbuffet, who, again, due to a bunch of stuff, is constantly carried away, so the Twerps and Team Rocket race to get to Wobbuffet first to get the key. Yeah, I liked it. It was a fun episode.
Oh, it's you double crisscrosser!
Wow, Buffet!
Brock comes down with a cold, and because of this, it's up to Misty and Ash to take care of Brock's usual duties, including the cooking and taking care of the Pokemon. Of course, the two suck at this and come to realize how much Brock does for them and the Pokemon. Glad to have a Brock appreciation episode. Guy deserves it. Now all he needs to do is get his dick wet.
Okay, I will. And thanks for caring so much about my health, guys. I appreciate it very much.
Ringmasters!
The gang arrive in Rikishi Town, where they are holding a Pokemon sumo competition, where only thickest boys compete. Luckily, Ash has one, his Snorlax, and using it, he wins the competition, earning him a King's Rock. Like the Sunstone, this will be important. It's the only reason I'm focusing on this episode, because otherwise it's just okay. And this time, well, it's kind of important.
Our heroes find themselves passing through an intriguing little village.
What's this?
It's an intriguing little village, Misty.
In The Poke Spokesman, the gang meets Simon, a man who claims he can speak with Pokemon. However, Officer Jenny shows up saying there's some scam involving Pokemon interpreters going on, and he's not actually the scammer though, it's some other jobbers. And he really can talk to Pokemon, not really, but also yes he can. In Control Freak, the gang help an archaeologist find the mask and scepter of a queen who could control Pokemon, and after Jessie manages to get a hold of it, she is able to control all of them, including Pikachu. Luckily, Brock Skullbat evolves into Crobat and saves the day. In The Art of Pokemon, the gang come to Whitestone, a self-explanatory town, when a group of Smeargle run around painting all over the Whitestones. They belong to a famous artist who wants the Smeargle to be free and paint since they have been facing some artist block recently. Make sure no one tells them about AI art.
The Heartbreak of Brock!
Hey, another pretty good Brock episode. We Brock fans are eating good this season. After Brock saves a girl named Temaku, that is a name, from falling into a fountain, she immediately falls in love with him and becomes very affectionate towards him. However, Brock does not know how to react to this, as he finds all her advances to be overwhelming, showing his true virgin persona. I thought this one was pretty fun, especially seeing Brock try to deal with someone like him in a more over-the-top way. And I thought it was funny that Tamaku would just eventually fall in love with anyone, including James, and then the doctor at the end of the episode. Pretty funny. She's just crazy.
Maybe a relationship should start out with both people liking each other. Maybe.
She's your only hope! Force yourself to like her!
In the current events, due to some contrivance, Ash and Chikorita get trapped in a power plant or something that is being guarded by a bunch of electric Pokemon, and after, of course, Team Rocket get involved somehow, Chikorita involves in a Bayleaf.
Turning over a new Bayleaf!
Alright, so these episodes are actually kind of rare in Pokemon, and I wish more of them did it, which is a Pokemon focusing on the fact that it evolves into a completely different body type and how to deal with it. In this case, Bayleaf, still trying to show her affection for Ash, can't do that as well as now being so thick. She inadvertently hurts him in her excitement. Ash, annoyed by this, yells at Bayleaf, causing her to run away, and Ash, feeling bad about it, tries to get her back. It's a good episode, good to see Ash isn't, some perfect character and can get annoyed at what his Pokemon do. Trust me, you're gonna miss Ash feeling any other emotion besides happiness as time goes on. In doing what comes naturally, that one is a stretch, the gang helps some kid who's having trouble performing with his Natu to tell the future. Well, who cares about that, because James meets that Magikarp salesman again. Man, this guy's getting around this season. And the big balloon blow-up, it's a balloon race, it's pretty boring.
The Screen Actors Guild!
In No Name Town, the gang are mysteriously given a smoochum by a mysterious man who claims he'll be back for it if they just wait there. Anyway, it's owned by a movie star named Brad Van Darn. Okay, that's a pretty good name. But his agent wants him to get rid of Smoochum since the Pokemon doesn't fit his Giga Chad movie star persona. It's an alright episode. I'm just bringing attention to it because of this one line at the beginning.
Somebody must have told all the girls in town that I was coming. Look at how happy they are to see me.
They must be so happy they forgot to stop.
I've been pointing every single one of them out because, again, we'd be here all day, but I do sometimes think the writing and the back and forth banter between the main characters is pretty funny. It's great stuff, but, again, I can't point them all out. We'd be here all day. We're already, 200 episodes in. And Ride On, a girl named Pietro tries to catch a special surfing ride-on so she can use it to help dig a tunnel between towns, since in the tunnel, water drips from the ceiling, sending most Rock-type Pokemon running.
The Kecleon Caper!
Man, it's kind of crazy that as early as 2001, we get a glimpse at Generation 3 Pokemon, a full year before the game was released. The gang, when viewing a fancy dirigible, helped the sick Kecleon of some wealthy women, then some stuff about Team Rocket or whatever trying to steal something. Point is, it's cool and interesting that they tease, the next generation a full year in advance. Advance. It's a joke because that's what the next season's. In the Joy of Water Pokemon, we get a rare Nurse Joy episode. At Lake Lucid, it is a famous spot for water Pokemon trainers, as the Nurse Joy there are well known for their treatment of water Pokemon. However, this current Nurse Joy actually hates water Pokemon. Man, they stuck you in the wrong place. The episode is unfortunately not as good as the premise would have you think. It does start off interesting with Misty confronting someone, this Nurse Joy who hates water types, and that she actually thought she was a really cool person taking care of them. There's a lot of potential for a story here, but, it's Pokemon, and man, it's not going to explore its characters like that. The only time any development happens is when Team Rocket shows up to attack them, and then all of a sudden, the problem's solved. It's like, whatever. I mean, I do like in this one how the Nurse Joy at the end doesn't get over her fear of water Pokemon, but, she's like, I'll work it out. I mean, that's cool. But it's just one of those episodes that makes you go, man, I wish they would just take more risks.
It's her! In person! My sisters are gonna be so jealous that I met you.
Misty, take a chill pill, will ya?
In Got Miltank, after a Team Rocket theft gone wrong, Cyndaquil and Meowth are lost in a desert and are taken care of by a Miltank who heals weary and injured Pokemon. In Fight for the Light, the gang finally arrive in Olivine City, and if you know the game, something similar happens here, with the leader Jasmine not able to battle due to her Ampharos who operates the lighthouse being sick, so Ash and friends decide to go to Cianwood City to pick up its medicine. Then in Machoke Man, the gang, along with this girl who's not that important, make it to Cianwood, get the medicine, and while Girl returns with the medicine, Ash stays to fight Chuck, the fighting-type gym leader. And he does, hurrah! But instead of going straight back to Olivine, since Jasmine is still not ready to battle, the gang take a detour through the Whirl Islands, which begins the Whirl Islands arc. Yes. Arc.
Around the Whirlpool!
Now we are in Pokemon Master Quest, the last third of the Johto region saga. New theme song, and it is better than Born to be a Winner. Believe in Me is pretty good, get you hyped for an episode.
I've got a chance to win. I'm on my way to victory.
It does now start the unfortunate trend that I don't like of a theme song having the subtitle of the season in it. It's going to get more annoying as time goes on. But yes, now we're in the Whirl Islands arc, which I guess you can consider filler, but again, it's Pokemon, it's kind of hard to tell what you would even classify as that. In this episode, our heroes, after fighting with Rocket Gang, get thrown off their ship touring the Whirl Islands. Luckily, they just so happen to find Professor Elm, who's there researching, and the captain of the boat tells them the World Cup, a tournament exclusively for water types, which any Lantern trainer would dominate, and Misty and Ash register for it and continue on their journey through the Whirl Islands to participate in it. Oh yeah, and they see a shadow of some mysterious Pokemon. It's probably a Lantern, but who knows. An epic Frank Sinatra reference that all the kids will get. The gang arrive at Pudgy Pidgey Island, and I love that that's its canon name, where all the Pidgey are thick and don't fly except for one who dreams of, well, you know the reference. In taking it on the Chinchou, the gang help protect a group of Chinchou who are migrating for the season. Okay, one trope I'm starting to hate is the main character attempting to catch a Pokemon only to be told that it's illegal or it's already owned by someone else or something. And I hate that the person in charge of that Pokemon gets mad, like, why are you trying to steal the Pokemon? And it's like, bro, it's alone. There's no one around. Catching Pokemon is the main goal of 90% of the human population. Like, back the fuck up. It's so annoying. In a Corsola caper, Misty catches a Corsola. Okay. In Mantine Overboard, we meet Luca, who will become a short reoccurring character, giving the gang a ride in our boat through the Whirl Islands. In this episode, though, it focuses on them helping her find a MacGuffin that her great-grandfather lost in a shipwreck. Turns out the item is a silver wing. Huh. I wonder if that's something to do with Lantern. In Octillery Outcast, the gang make it to the World Cup, and Ash and Misty easily make it to the finals. We don't really even see the matches, because more importantly, they help one of the losers who Octillery is sad because its Remoraid friends think he's ugly now. Damn, poor Octillery. It's my favorite electric type. In Dueling Heroes, Ash and Misty have tough fights in the next round of the World Cup, but come out on top, and now have to face each other in the next round. Then, in the perfect match, Misty beats Ash. The fight was okay, Psyduck forever the GOAT. I did feel bad for Bayleaf, though, in this episode, because Ash exchanged her for his Kingler, and she's all distraught because of how much she loves Ash. Like, I don't want to see a Pokemon cry for any reason. That's fucked up. Why would you animate that? But anyways, in this same episode, Misty loses to some rando named Trinity, who loses to a super rando that we don't even know the name of. That's right, this World Cup they hyped up for like 5 episodes was won by a nobody.
Planted now, Diglett later!
We're a band of Diglett thieves known as the Band of Diglett Thieves. We used to be known by a much more creative name, but those old fogies in there just kept getting confused.
In Hi-Ho Silver Away, honestly, I don't really remember much about this episode. I guess it was about some jewelry maker who wants to propose to a shopkeeper that they like, and there's all this Silverwing legend of the fourth Whirl Island. I don't care, honestly. However, I started to pay attention at the end because the group run into a familiar-looking Pikachu.
The mystery is history!
Get ready, folks, as these next 3 episodes are like a mini-movie about Lugia. Wait, Lugia? What happened to Lantern? Oh, there it is, thank God. Anyway, Richie is back, yay, for really no reason, as you will see, but the group of them run into a boy named Oliver and his Lantern, who are playing with a baby Lugia named Silver. Yeah, very creative kid. Then Cassidy and Biff.
It's Butch, didn't you hear me the first time?
Whatever, show up trying to capture it for some new rocket scientist named Dr. Namba. The kids send them off, and then the parent Lugia of Silver shows up. And then it leaves, allowing Team Rocket to come back and steal the baby. Will the heroes save the baby Lugia from Rocket Gang? Well, yeah. Now, I'll try to point out when it happens, excuse me if I forget, but sometimes the anime does reference the movies, as this one calls back to the movie Pokemon 2000, as both Ash and Team Rocket mention that they have seen a Lugia before in the Orange Islands.
Yeah, this is a Lugia.
A Lugia?
That's right. I saw one once before in the Orange Islands.
No way! A Lugia just like the one back on the Orange Islands!
A parent trapped!
And most of this episode is just the kids trying to get into Team Rocket's base and convince the adult Lugia to trust them. It's kind of mid overall, ending with all of them getting captured. Now, yeah, look, I kid, but come on. Again, we know how this is all going to end because it's a kid's show. But I will admit, it is good drama for kids. They do a good job of making the situation seem hopeless, and you wonder, like, oh man, how's Ash going to get out of this one? Just, you know, I'm so 5-head, these children's cartoons can't fool me, you know?
A promise is a promise!
And now the finale of the Lugia trilogy. They win, the gang free Lugia, and Richie leaves. I know some of you are like, man, why don't you describe the episode, asshole? Stop trying to skip everything. But look, we're barely 10% through the video, despite this being, you know, the few times Pokemon has multiple episodes that lead into each other in the grand scheme of things. This whole trilogy does not matter. Like, after this episode, none of this shit ever gets brought up again, so there's no reason to go over it beat for beat. That's why I'm focusing on characters that come back, or when a main character catches a Pokemon sometimes, you know, these are the things I know that will come back, and that's why I'm explaining it now. Case in point, Richie. This is the last time in the main series that he has a speaking role, and unless you count Pokemon Chronicles, which I don't. Like, come on, you should know by now. I'll tell you when something that's actually substantial to the entire series as a whole happens. Throwing in the Noctowl is not one of those episodes. This episode is about a pilot and his Noctowl, and then Ash's Noctowl, flying a plane through a storm. And for the greater narrative, it's just so Ash can return to Olivine to fight Jasmine. Then in Nerves of Steelix, Ash gets his battle against Jasmine, and it's smooth at first until Jasmine uses her Steelix, and then Ash remembers, oh yeah, I have a fire type for this Steel Gym, and takes the W. Now they head to Mahogany Town for the next badge.
Bulbasaur, the Ambassador!
Oh god, not you again. Professor Oak is having trouble with Pokemon in his lab and asks Ash to send his Bulbasaur to help since Ambassador skill is +2. Bulba does a great job and Ash decides to leave him at Oaks to help with the Pokemon. So yeah, like the other two starters, Ash didn't release Bulbasaur. I mean, it's back in Professor Oak's lab like all of his other Pokemon. It's just, you know, there now, which is good because, you know, he had 2 grass types on his team. Like, come on man, who does that? In Espeon Not Included, we run into Sakura from that Kimono Girls episode, who I don't even think I named, who's evolved into a Espeon, I guess. And she finally leaves to go on her own journey. Kinda cool they bring back a one-off character, I hope they keep doing it. In For Ho-Oh the Bell Tolls, the gang meet Morty again, along with Isween, whatever you pronounce that.
Ash Ketchum, this is Ucine.
And they learn about the legend of Ho-Oh and the 3 legendary beasts. While they try to find the crystal bells to help calm the bug Pokemon of the forest. Spoilers, they were taken by Team Rocket. In Extreme Pokemon, we have another weird Pokemon-related competition that will never show up again, but Gary's participating too, hooray. But Ash comes out on top and manages to win a blue egg. Ooh.
An exciting adventure!
In this one, Ash, Misty, and Brock take a rest at a Pokemon Center, and in the middle of the night, Team Rocket steals the egg that Ash got in the last episode, and the group, along with Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny, who don't know Team Rocket stole it, have to do some detective work to figure out where the egg went. It's a simple story, but I like it just because it's pretty funny. Mostly because the Officer Jenny who helps the twerps is incredibly incompetent, constantly coming to the wrong conclusions and misinterpreting obvious clues.
Is that Togepi yours, Misty?
Yes.
And the missing egg belongs to Ash?
Yeah, that's right.
It's all becoming very clear. This egg napper is Brock!
Oh, Jenny, that's brilliant!
I've been kind of glossing over them, but I do like it when they give the Joys and Jennies different personalities besides, you know, their job makes them who they are. Makes them feel more like characters rather than the best fat material. It's simple, but sometimes, yeah, that works best. It's one of my favorite episodes so far.
So I guess there really was an outside intruder.
See? Then it couldn't have been Brock.
What a relief! I'm not a criminal after all!
Hatching a plan!
Ash's egg hatches into a Phanpy, and the episode is mostly trying to stop Rocket Gang's attempts at stealing it. Okay.
Do's and don'ts!
Okay, another pretty funny episode. In this one, Rocket Gang runs into some high-up woman in Team Rocket who tells Jesse and James they need to renew their Team Rocket license. Yes, they need a license. If that's not funny enough, to prove themselves to get their license, they have to beat the twerps, which 200-something attempts haven't told you that's not something they're good at. They also fail at this, but in the best joke, they stay on with Team Rocket because they are so short-staffed due to many of the members being arrested that they just have to keep them. Yeah, again, it's just a funny episode with some great humor. I much prefer these comedic ones to the arcs about legendary Pokemon or whatever, the serious ones about, oh man, it's so sad they're releasing a Pokemon. Yeah, whatever. Look, just entertain me. That's all I want for Pokemon. Just a nice, wholesome, fun anime. That's all I need.
There's nothing like a fruit smoothie after a grueling workout. Be a dear and take care of the bill, please. I'll pay you back later.
She still owes me that money!
In Just Waiting on a Friend, it's a ghost episode. I'm pretty sure we've had some of these in the past, but they all usually go something like this, that a huge storm or abnormal weather forces the twerps and or the Rockets into an abandoned-looking house/mansion, and it's either not empty or hosted by some mysterious person, like in this episode. Shenanigans ensue, ending with everyone coming to the realization, like, wait, that was a ghost? If one of these comes up again, and believe me, they will, I'll just save up some time by saying it's a ghost episode and move on. In a Tyrogue full of trouble, wait, I don't get the pun here. The gang meet a guy whose Tyrogue is bad and wants to train him to make him good. He's doing this because, shocker, there's a fighting type only tournament coming up. Why are there so many of these single type tournaments? That sounds so boring. And as Xatu the Future, see I got that pun, the group meet a bunch of natives, is that the PC term? Who use Xatu to predict things like the weather, but recently they've been predicting nothing accurately, and the woman who watches over them has to decide if the new prediction of a great disaster is real or not. It was.
Talking about an evolution!
So tell me, how did you guys end up wandering in the forest?
Cyrus? Okay, I gotta stop making so many Yu-Gi-Oh references. It's next year, okay? Next year. Shut the fuck up. But yes, in this episode, we finally meet the champion of Johto/Kanto, Lance. He's at the Lake of Rage to stop not Jesse, James, and Meowth, but another group of Team Rocket from stealing the shiny Gyarados of the lake. I will say it's great that Lance actually tells the twerps that, hey, you're kids. You shouldn't be fighting terrorists. Go home. At least one adult in the Pokemon world is sensible.
We'll help you out.
Huh?
That would be so awesome. Can we please help you with your job, Lance?
No way!
Then, in Rage of Innocence, they succeed in stopping Rocket Gang, and the shiny Gyarados is saved. This is also thanks to a mysterious old man and his dugong. Who could it be? It's Price, the gym leader of Mahogany Town. And as cold as Price, we get what could have been an interesting clash of ideals, with Price saying Pokemon should be slaves and not friends. Obviously, Ash don't think like that, and what could have been an interesting debate on what Pokemon mean to humans is instead turned into Price acts like this because one day his Piloswine left him and never returned after losing badly to a Magmar, so he treats Pokemon badly to not get attached, only to just so happen for them to find that same Piloswine frozen in a cave that was nearby. And no conflict happened, everything is fine in Pokemon world, and no one can have their own views and opinions, everything is fine. Then yeah, Ash beats Price in the next one and gets his badge and nice Price baby. Look, this is why I think Pokemon should stick to being funny, because every time they try to bring up these interesting conflicts and ideas, they just do nothing with them. You know, I'd rather laugh than just be disappointed. In whichever way the wind blows, it's a motherfucking gang war. The Blossoms versus the Plumes. Blood will be spilled, lives will be lost, and all of it will be solved after an attack by Team Rocket and Misty telling you no matter what you try, fate will dick you over.
You didn't become Vileplume because of the wind. It's because you were meant to be Vileplume. And I'm sure that you Blossom were meant to become Blossom too.
When some might get hot, the gang come across a group of mech cargo, blocking their path, and after Misty fails at beating them with her water types, she gets in a feud with a fire type trainer over which type is superior. Of course, in the end, they work together to clear the path forward. In Hocus Pokemon, the group run into a witch. There's no exaggeration there, she is a straight up witch. And they help her make a spell to allow trainers to understand Pokemon, and when all is said and done, Ash gets turned into a Pikachu, a human getting turned into a Pokemon. Yes, these are the first signs of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. They had it planned out for years. As Clear as Crystal starts off weird, with Ash still the Pikachu from the last episode. Yeah, it didn't reset after the last one, but he turns back like right away at the start, and they never acknowledge it the rest of the episodes. What was even the point of that? Which is the most interesting thing about this episode. The rest of it is about getting Pikachu some power through a special crystal. It's not that interesting. In same old song and dance, the gang find a girl with two Pokemon that perform something. I feel like we've seen this a lot, but this one, Jigglypuff gets involved since the two Pokemon are Igglybuff, its baby form. That's it. There's really no conflict in this episode besides trying to get Jigglypuff not to sing. In Enlighten Up, finally a cult I can get behind, Rocket Gang and the Twerps decide to achieve enlightenment at the Slowpoke Temple, where all answers shall be revealed. Of course, Team Rocket are faking interest in order to steal a Slowpoke. Will the gang stop Team Rocket and find the answer to the universe?
Will the real Oak please stand up?
What is that? Is that an Eminem reference? In Pokemon? This one is pretty funny, with Team Rocket pretending to be Oak and DJ Mary from that radio episode in order to get special treatment and free stuff. And it gets pretty interesting when the real Oak stands up, but no one believes he's the real one. Nothing special, but I thought it was pretty fun.
Is it true Clefairy are aliens, Professor?
How will I know it's the right time for evolving my little Eevee?
Is there really such a Pokemon as Celebi?
What do I do to evolve my Tyrogue into a Hitmontop?
In Wish Upon a Star shape, the gang see a falling star that turns out to be the Pokemon Cleffa, and wanting to discover its origins, they begrudgingly team up with some weirdos called the Pokemon Mystery Club. The best part about this episode is the adorable relationship between Ash's Vampy and the Cleffa. Other than that, standard stuff.
Outrageous Fortunes!
Alright, so remember all the way back in episode 196, the sumo one, where Ash got that King's Rock? Well, in this episode, the gang meet a trainer who wants to challenge anyone with his Poliwrath. And after a slip by Ash, Misty's Poliwhirl grabs his King's Rock that was in his bag. Then some Team Rocket stuff happens, and Misty sends out her Poliwhirl while holding the King's Rock, which evolves it into a Politoed, who I love. Again, another Gen 2 Pokemon, great. Look at him, he's so happy. Easy claps, boys. In One Trick Pony, after Ash has a crazy win streak, a trainer suggests he try the Pokemon Battle Park to get his battling fix. But Team Rocket got there first and find out the park is closed for repairs, and Team Rocket uses the Pokemon there to try to steal Pikachu instead of just taking these Pokemon for Team Rocket and getting away. In Polly Told You So, the gang meet the leader of a Pokemon cheer squad, and her Politoed runs away due to her being a bitch, so she wants to use Misty's Politoed as a substitute while they look for her Politoed. This episode really shows how fast the conflict resolved in these 22-minute episodes, as we don't see why Politoed left until near the end, when What's-Her-Face starts berating her Pokemon, and in less than 5 minutes after seeing Misty actually care about her Pokemon, What's-Her-Face instantly realizes her mistake and goes through a whole emotional arc in like 5 minutes. Like, yeah, I get it's a 20-minute episode, but come on, you can pace it better. I've seen you do it before, Pokemon. Well, it's certainly been a while, but yes, we have another banned episode of Pokemon. It's not that interesting, both why it's banned and what it's about. It's just because everyone's favorite blackface Jinx is back. That's why it was banned. And the episode itself is about a special Pokemon center in an ice cave with ice Pokemon. Team Rocket tries to steal them. Whatever. Least interesting banned episode. In Beauty is Skin Deep, the gang meet Claire, the final gym leader, and help her take a Dratini to a place for some kind of dragon ritual. Let's just get to the gym battle. In Fangs for Nothing, Rocket Gang interrupts Ash's gym battle, great, by stealing the Dragon Fang from the last episode, and eventually ends up in the Dragon Holy Land, which angers the Dragonite there. And guess what? It's a two-parter, sort of.
Great Bowls of Fire!
And in the next episode, Great Bowls of Fire, that dragon stuff is saved thanks to the arrival of Ash's Charizard and Liza from the Terrific Valley. Anyway, stuff happens with Dragonite and Team Rocket, very sad backstory. Look, it's really hard for me to care about this stuff as it's never going to come back, so it's hard to get invested in all this made-up lore to me. Yeah, I know it makes the world feel more alive, and I don't dislike it. I think it's good that they are putting all this effort into the world building. It's just after 250 episodes, all of it is starting to, blend together in my mind, since none of this will matter in the next episode, so I just learned to stop paying attention to it. Then, in Better 8 Than Never, you're telling me, we get the last gym battle in Johto. It's Ash versus Claire. Ash starts off with a Snorlax of all Pokemon, which takes out Claire's Kingdra, but Claire's Gyarados takes out Fat Boy. Thankfully, Ash has an electric type, though, I guess. Claire finishes with her Dragonair, taking out Pikachu, but thankfully Ash's Charizard Seismic tosses his way to victory, getting Ash's final gym badge, and Charizard returns to the Terrific Valley to train more. There, I figured since I've been so negative, I'd give you a very quick gym battle play-by-play. It's the last one, never doing it again. And why not? The gang find out they need to get to Mount Silver for the Johto League Championship. They need to go to New Barktown to register. But Team Rocket decides to steal Ash's badges from him, but they are stolen from them by a Wynot, another Gen 3 Pokemon in Wobbuffet's baby form. In Just Add Water, the gang find a synchronized Pokemon swimming event, and Misty gets in a feud with another Water-type trainer.
But yes, I am the prettiest and most talented of all of the Cerulean gym trainers.
Well, if you ask me, not that you would, I'd say Lily was the most talented and beautiful.
I am the most talented and beautiful!
You sure about that?
Was I talking to you, Brock?
Lapras of Luxury!
In kind of a surprise, Ash is asked to get an egg from a marine laboratory by Professor Elm, and there he runs into his Lapras from the Orange Islands, and after Team Rocket shenanigans, he has to help it reunite with its herd again. And Ash gets the egg as they continue to New Barktown. Okay, so we immediately find out what's in the egg in Hatch Me If You Can, when it hatches into a Larvitar, but it's going to die? The fuck? Yes, its body temperature is dropping fast, and Team Rocket mess up the Pokemon Center's generator, so the group have to figure out how to save Larvitar. And thanks to the two professors, Elm and Oak, and Ash's mom is here too, okay, they save it, and Ash has to now take the Larvitar back to Mount Silver, where it was found. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode. A Pokemon dying is one way to get me to pay attention and actually care about the stakes, considering how rare it is that they actually even try for that. In Entei at Your Own Risk, the gang meet a trainer who is looking for the legendary Pokemon Entei. Also, Brock's Pineco evolves. It's better than the third movie.
A crowning achievement!
Is Slowking Moses?
Here's looking at you, Elekid!
So you might notice that going forward, the anime looks a bit different now. That's because from this episode onward, the show is now animated digitally. If I was an animator, I would care more about this. Personally, I think the colors are more appealing, really popping more. I know there are people that are more into the traditional feel of hand-animated cells, but personally, as long as the show still looks good and it's still entertaining, I don't really care how it's done. Anyway, this episode, an Elekid starts messing with Larvitar, and after a Team Rocket stealing attempt gets them lost. The gang find out the Elekid belongs to Casey, who also has a Meganium now, and the group all try to find the missing Pokemon. Also, randomly and without much fanfare, James loses his Victory Bell in this episode, which admittedly I never talked about because he never really caught it on screen. Again, he just kind of showed up in his party randomly, like it just happened. Anyways, he runs into that Magikarp salesman again and tricks the trio into trading James's Victory Bell for a Weepin' Bell that knows Sweet Scent. After Rocket Gang loses, the Weepin' Bell evolves into a Victory Bell, and Jesse kicks it away. Then the Magikarp salesman hates James's Victory Bell, and he kicks it away, and the two Victory Bell meet, fall in love, and disappear into a forest, never to be seen again. What a complicated and anticlimactic way to get rid of a Pokemon that only served a visual gag.
And we two were inseparable. Night and day, good times and bad, feast or famine, we were a team.
In You're a Star, Larvitar, nothing really happens in this one. They make it to the base of Mount Silver and Ash battles some rando trainer. Larvitar doesn't even really do anything in this episode. It's not really about him, so what was the point of the name? In Address Unknown, after helping a sick unknown, it shows the group Larvitar's memories as an egg, where some poachers hurt its mom, so that's why it doesn't trust humans. Oh yeah, that was a whole subplot that Larvitar was shy towards Misty and Brock, and for some reason, well, now we know why. In Mother of All Battles, the gang returned Larvitar to its mother after helping take down the poachers from before. So yeah, we never see Larvitar again after this, that's why I barely mentioned him.
Pop goes the Sneasel!
The Silver Conference is almost ready, but the torch to light the ceremonial flame is being guarded by a Sneasel, Machop, and Machoke. So Ash, along with a new trainer Harrison from the Hoenn region, steps up. Yeah, it's our first mention of the Hoenn region in this episode, and we even see Harrison has a Blaziken as well. This episode is okay, it's mostly to set up Hoenn and Harrison being a rival for Ash at the tournament, and for that, it's alright.
Acclaim to flame!
In this episode, we get some character development as Ash runs into Gary again. After him, Gary, and Harrison make it past the screening round for the Silver Conference, we get a moment that's pretty monumental for Pokemon as two characters sit down and talk about their journey and relationship, showing how much Gary has grown since episode 1, saying he's impressed Ash has come so far and managed to tame Pikachu from being a wild Pokemon to one of his best friends. Wow, I wish more Pokemon episodes had stuff like this. But again, this highlight shows Gary is a good character. We may not see it a lot, and we may not see him a lot, but it's shown that his demeanor has changed and towards Ash, not just the others, and he's become a lot more humble. That's shown very well in this episode, as you can see now that they're definitely more friends now, and still rivals, of course, but nowhere near as antagonistic towards each other as the beginning of it. Man, I wish everyone got this good development. In Love Pokemon style, Ash has everyone sent to him from Oak's lab. I thought you could only have 6 on you at a time, but whatever. Then a bunch of stuff happens, like Ash saving his opponent Macy, and she falls in love with him, and Ash's Kingler getting injured, but luckily a Squirtle comes back. Hooray! And Ash beats Macy, moving on. In Taiwan On, Ash fights Jackson, some guy who has never appeared in anything else I need to talk about, and after an intense rival-esque battle between Ash's Bulbasaur and Jackson's Meganium, it ends in a draw, but Ash obtained enough points, yeah, I guess there's a point system, to advance, and his opponent is... oh shit.
The ties that bind!
Alright, here we go. It's all been building up to this. Ash versus Gary. I will say the episode is good at building up the match. It doesn't start right away, but when it does, it's Gary's Nidoqueen versus Ash's Tauros. Nidoqueen takes out Tauros, giving Gary the first victory. Ash answers back quickly with Heracross, and Gary swaps Nidoqueen for Magmar with the counterpick. But this is Anime Land, and Ash's Heracross takes out Magmar. And the episode ends with Heracross versus Blastoise, continuing in...
Can't beat the heat!
Gary's Blastoise knocks out Heracross, so Ash switches to Muck. And even though it's kinda working, he goes for the counterpick with Bayleaf. But again, it's Anime Land, and Blastoise takes out Bayleaf, with Gary leading now. In the next half, it's Ash's Snorlax versus Gary's Arcanine, and a Hyper Beam to the face takes out Arcanine. Gary sends out Nidoqueen again, but this big boy can move and takes out Nidoqueen with an Ice Punch to the body. Gary then sends out Scizor, who makes quick work of not just Snorlax, but also Muck. And now Ash is down to 1 Pokemon, opposed to Gary's 3. Luckily, oh, it's Charizard, which actually works how you think it will against Scizor. Then it's anime logic again with Charizard beating Golem. Finally, it's the battle of the starters, Charizard versus Blastoise. And then Hydro Pump after Hydro Pump, Flamethrower after Seismic Toss, the dust settles, and he takes it. Ash finally wins against Gary in his first full battle. The crowd goes wild. This kid finally beat his longtime rival. GG's, kid. But it's not over yet, as Ash's next opponent is now Harrison.
Playing with fire!
And this episode's kind of less important, so I'm not going to describe it as much detail. It starts off good with Harrison quickly beating Pikachu, and after intense fighting, the last Pokemon standing are Blaziken versus Charizard. Who will come out on top?
Johto photo finish!
Well, after an intense battle between the fire types, it's Harrison's Blaziken that takes it, getting Ash a top 8 placement. And the ultimate winner is John. I don't know who that is, but at least they gave him a name this time. After everything is done, everyone heads their separate ways. Harrison goes to Kanto to compete in its league after telling Ash he should check out Hoenn to see all the Pokemon there. And Gary makes a surprising announcement saying he's done battling and wants to become a Pokemon researcher, which I think after his development makes perfect sense. He's done trying to prove he's the best and instead wants to now better understand Pokemon. Plus, you know, he's also Oak's grandson, so it makes sense from that too. And Ash, Misty, and Brock decide to head back home and maybe even start going their own separate ways.
Gotta catch you later!
The gang arrive back in Kanto in Viridian City, and to Misty's multiple surprises, her sisters call her saying they want to travel, so she has to come back to the gym and watch it. And then she finds out that her bike has been fixed by a Nurse Joy, I guess. She just left it there back in episode 2 and the Nurse Joy fixed it. Well, that was nice of her. And this, to Ash's surprise, upsets Misty, as it seems she planned to travel with everyone for a bit longer. But after Team Rocket stuff that really didn't need to be in this episode, we get a tearful goodbye at a split path as Brock has to say goodbye too, as he needs to return to Pewter City after getting an email from his family. And honestly, the goodbye is heartwarming and kind of sad. They really did a good job sending off these characters who we've known for years, if you've been watching these when they came out anyway. Yep, we'll definitely never see Brock again.
Misty, thank you. And Brock, I know that there's no way I could have ever...
If you have something to say, Ash, then say it.
Yeah, we're all ears.
Arriving back in Pallet Town, Ash finds out Gary has left all of his Pokemon at Oaks except for his starter Pokemon Blastoise and is going on another journey already. Ash, inspired by this and after seeing the Hoenn region and even seeing Ho-Oh fly off toward Hoenn, he of course decides to head there himself, armed with a new drip from his mom and knowledge from Professor Oak to find Professor Birch in Little Root Town, leaving all of his Pokemon there except for Pikachu to begin a new journey in the Hoenn region. But that's not it, as now we are about to go into the final episode of Pokemon Johto and the overall original Pokemon series.
Hoenn alone!
And honestly, it's alright. It's mainly a lead into the next season, as Team Rocket attempt to steal Pikachu again, and Ash, with no Pokemon and no friends, is kinda stuck. Thankfully, an Officer Jenny helps him, and after stopping them once again, Ash and Pikachu are ready for Hoenn until it's discovered Pikachu has come down with a fever and is sparking erratically. So, yeah, that's the last episode of the original series, technically, ending on a cliffhanger. Overall, Johto was just kind of more of the same, which, makes sense, honestly, but, after hundreds of episodes of watching it, it's just starting to get stale to me. Episodes all have a very similar structure, setup, types of problems, and characters. It's all becoming too safe to me, which for syndication works better, when you can't decide when or where episodes air, but when binge-watching them, it becomes a slog. But hey, who knows, maybe things will go up from here as the anime takes on the 3rd generation with Pokemon Advanced.
Because we all